right, we'll find a standing position. Good morning, welcome to Barre. My name is Jennifer. Today we'll be working with some light weights. We'll use a chair eventually for some balance and stability. And if you have a yoga block or a book, we will also use that as a prop just to work in a little different space in our legs and in some of our arm work. We don't need anything to get started here with our warm-up. We'll just take some shoulder rolls back, maybe forward, kind of preparing the body to work, starting to create some space with the breath. Let's ground down through the feet, hip distance apart. Take a big inhale up. Really stretch and reach. Maybe reaching the fingertips toward the sky, starting to open the sides of the body. Take a big inhale, reach both fingertips up, shrug the shoulders up to the ears, and on the exhale, bend the knees, float down to your forward fold. Take an inhale, maybe lengthen the legs, lengthen the spine, flatten out. Exhale, fold. Ground down through the feet one more time, big circle sweep, stretch through the arms. And we'll start to step out here. Right leg steps out and in. And I forgot to mention, I won't have music on my end, so if there's something that you enjoy listening to, you are muted. Go for it, play whatever you like. So pinky edge of the left leg, or whichever leg is still, is ground down and pressing. Big lunge out. Let's add the arms. As we take that step out, biceps come toward the ears. And as we lean forward, it's really more of a hinge. So hinging forward at the hip bone, spine is super long here. Warming the legs, starting to find that long spine. Big reach. We'll add on in 3, 2, and 1. As we step back to center, take that curtsy behind, center, lunge to the side, center. Curtsy behind, lunge. So the spine is long. We're sliding down that wall as we curtsy back. Stay right here. 4, 3. Each time we come into that lunge, maybe coming just a little bit deeper. We'll switch it up a little bit right here. As we come back through center, it's a knee lift, curtsy back. Knee lift and lunge. Knee lifts. So think about bringing that right knee up toward the shoulder. Big lift here. 4. Nice. 3, 2, and 1. Take that big step out here. We'll go side to side. So now grounding down through the pinky edge of both feet, starting to warm up and open through the inner thighs. We'll add a little bit of spinal rotation, bringing opposite elbow toward opposite knee. Gaze follows. So starting gently here, but start to feel that side body working, warming up a little bit. Keep that side to side for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step back to center, other side, step out. Actually, we'll just take the hands at heart center for the first few. Really focus on the lower body. Tailbone sinking, pinky edge of that standing leg, ground down, super stable. Now add those arms, biceps toward the ears. Yes. Reach forward as we hinge. Take 4 more here. 4. We'll add that curtsy lunge behind. In 2, and 1. Center and curtsy. Lunge to the side. You got it. Curtsy back. So noticing what happens in the body as you start to warm up. Maybe just finding your body naturally sinking into things a little bit more. Yes. We'll add again in 4. Adding the knee lift next. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Knee lifts up. And curtsy back. And curtsy. Yeah. So really tuning in to your body as we start to work. Sometimes as we pick those weights up and move through long sets, the weights can start to feel super heavy. If you find that you're getting past a point where you're working in the body, a little discomfort is good. But if you're feeling pain or it's just too much, we're gonna set the weights down and just keep moving together. Last one here. Let's take that side to side one more time. Right away, find that rotation in the spine. Big bend in the knee, opposite elbow. Press the palms together. Last 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to center. Take one more big circle sweep up. And as we exhale down, we'll grab those weights. We'll take that slow roll up, allow the weight of those weights in the hands to open up the spine a little bit. So pulling the belly button to the spine to protect the lower back, ground down through the feet. Take that slow and controlled roll all the way up, shoulders come back. So in the legs, first we'll find that hip distance parallel position. So heels are right underneath the hip bones. And now we're gonna step forward with the right foot. So we've got this open position. So let's just start to find this kind of rocking sensation in the body. As that right heel comes forward, the left lifts. That's where we're headed. Let's ground down here. Back heel is lifted, just starting with those raises. Lift here. So arms are pretty straight. A little bend in the elbow is fine. This is going to be the most intense way to work the biceps and the shoulders here. Your alternative is going to be to bring a little bit of a bend into the elbow, still lifting up. Just shortens the lever, makes it a little bit easier. Now let's bring that lower body action. So as the weights come up toward the shoulders, weight comes into the front foot, this rocking horse sensation. Yes, we'll add on in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, we'll add a twist to the right. So twisting over the front leg, just a little squeeze to the side body, a little rotation as you come forward. From a stability standpoint, this can be tricky for some of us, for some days more than others. So take any adjustments with the feet, maybe bringing the feet a little bit wider, gives you a little more stability. Continue to twist for 4, 3, 2, arms come back to center. As we come forward this time, that left knee lifts. Rock back, knee lift, rock back, knee lift. Yes. So knee pulls up toward the belly button. Find that core right here, belly button pulled to the spine, rib cage pulled into the body. Pull everything in, find that energy in the midline. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold right here, knee stays lifted, balancing on that right leg. Find that gentle bend. We're gonna open to a T and close, and open, and close. Adding the lower body as the arms come out, that left leg is gonna tap to the side, squeeze together. Tap and squeeze, tap and squeeze. Again, your modification is add a little bit of bend in the elbow here. Yeah, looks good. Keep going. 8, 7, 6, 5. Last 4, 3, 2. Add that bend in the standing leg. We'll bend and lift, bend and lift. So as the toe taps to the side, standing leg bends, we drop in a little bit deeper. Take your modification if you need it. This is a lot for the shoulders. We've got 8 more on this side. And 7, 6, 5, 4, final 3, 2, and 1. Step together for a moment, bicep curls. Keep it simple. We're just gonna keep the body moving as we take a breath, get ready to transition to the other side. Let's just add a couple of heel lifts here, starting to wake up through the calves. As those weights pull up toward the shoulders, heels lift, ground down through the balls of the feet. Spread the toes wide for 8, 7, 6. Preparing for that right leg to step back. In 3, 2, and 1. Step that foot back. Let's just rock forward and back here. Find that rocking horse sensation. Follow the foot to heel, and then pause and hold here. Start your lift and lower. Lift. We'll move a little quicker, going into that rock right here. Coming forward and lift. Yeah. So as we come to the second set in this particular choreography, we're doing the same thing with the arms. So it does get to be a lot for the shoulders. So go where you need to go. If you do modify or put the weights down for a moment, no shame, don't kill yourself over it, but maybe pick them back up, take a little break and jump right back in with us. We'll add that twist in 4. We'll be torso twisting over the left leg or whatever leg you have in front, in 2 and 1. Here we go. Twist and twist. Allow your gaze to follow. Yeah. Let's take 4 more here. 3, 2, 1. As we come back to center, we'll add that right knee lift up. Rock back and lift. Rock and lift. So this is where, again, you kind of start to feel the core. So really find that energy, pull the rib cage in, belly button pull to the spine. Maybe think about lifting that pelvic floor, starting to rotate the hip bones up toward the lower rib cage, that little squeeze right here. 4, 3, we'll hold the balance on that left leg in 2, and 1. Hold right here, open and close. Let's rotate this time so the palms are facing one another. Find that gentle bend in the standing leg. We'll add the lower body in 4, 3, 2, 1. Right toes tap out and in, out and in. That standing leg is right there, just hanging on to that gentle bend for now, out and in. I'm sneaking closer to the camera. I'm trying to get close to my friends. Keep my six feet back here. All right, let's add that bend in the standing leg, bending the standing knee as the toe taps out to the side. Squeeze back in, right here, for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a wide step out this time. We'll take a few bicep curls here, just lower and lift. Just getting that last little burn for the biceps, but gives us an opportunity to reconnect with that long spine here. Really easy to envision that slide down the wall, soften the tops of the shoulders right here. Yes. We're gonna stay low in 3, 2, 1. Stay low and pulse. So it's a teeny tiny lift, grounding down through the heels. Little lift, maybe take the fingertips off the weight and just let the weights rest in the palms of the hands. Press up and lift. 10, 9, 8, 7. Can we wrap through the core just a little more? 3, 2, and 1. Come together. We'll take that slow roll down. We're coming down to all 4s. You can put one weight to the side. We're going to hang on to one weight and now grab your block. I feel like I might need to adjust so that you can see me down here a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So we'll place, let's start with our right hand on top of the block. So you'll just take your palm, we'll set up on all 4s, and then a weight in the left hand. So hips are stacked above the knees, shoulders above the wrists. Really spread the fingers out on that block. Find that stability, grounding down. We'll just take that lift up of the weight, and we're just gonna sweep the left arm in front of the body and behind. So we're easing into the tricep work here, but we're also gonna get a little bit of spinal flexion and extension on our way. So go as slowly as you need to have control. And now we'll add that spinal flexion. So as we reach the weight forward, round through the spine, chin to the chest. As we come forward, open the heart, let the belly drop a little bit. So a very small version of cat-cow, just a little spinal flexion and extension here. As the weight sweeps back, really take some effort. Consciously squeeze that tricep and lift. Yes. Take 4, 3, 2, and 1. Weight stays back. We're going to lift that opposite knee so the right knee comes up off the mat, leg is at 90 degrees. Press up and up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, and 1. Now sweep the arm forward and knee comes to the belly as the arm sweeps back. Reach forward and pull in. So kind of a little spinal balance variation here. Yes, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right knee comes down. The weight comes out of the left hand. Set up here for some tricep push-ups. So walk the knees back a little bit so that the knees are behind the hips. Elbows stay in tight to the body. Right hand stays on the block. Lower and lift here. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold, lower halfway, 8 count hold. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press up. Reset, left hand on the block now. Weight comes into the right. Knees come back underneath the hips to all fours. Just starting with that gentle swing, right arm reaches forward and back. So I say it's a gentle swing, but we're super supported through the core. That spine is in neutral, crown of the head reaching ahead, tailbone reaching behind, really just moving that shoulder. So kind of warming up through the shoulder girdle here. We'll add that spinal flexion and extension whenever you're ready as the weight sweeps forward around the spine and back to open. Actually, I'm gonna do it opposite as we come back round. It doesn't really matter so much, just finding that contrast in the spine starting to open up. And as we come into that cat spine, that very, very slight flexion, pulling the hip bones toward the rib cage. This is a great place to practice that sensation in the body. 2 more here. Last one, right leg holds back, lift the left leg up, press the heel to the sky, take a little straight arm tricep lift, that right hand lifting up, left heel pressing up. 8, 7, 6, 5. Last 3, 2, and 1. We'll make it bigger here again. Knee comes to the chest and press back lift. Yes. 6, 5, 4. Really tuck and squeeze, pull that knee in. 2, and 1. Release the knee down. Take that weight to the side. Right hand comes down to the mat. Walk the knees back. Come into that kneeling plank position. Elbows stay hugged in tight. We've got 8 push-ups here. Lower, exhale, press up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower halfway, hold for 8, 7, 6, 5. Squeeze the lower rib cage together. 2, and 1. Press back here. Take the fingertips on top of that block. Press the hips back to take a lat stretch here. So basically child's pose, but maybe hands on top of that block or book. Hips sink back, stretching the lower back, stretching the arms. Yeah, deep breath. And we'll float forward. We're gonna stay here on the earth and do a little plank work. We'll use that block for stability here. So take your block or your book and place it on the lower back. So kind of right on top of the tailbone. And we're gonna start in a bear position. So all fours, and then we'll curl the toes, lift the knees up. So feel that space in the upper spine open through the scapula. Find that protraction, heart lifting up through the shoulder blades, knees hovering. We'll take a lower and a lift with the knees here. So slightly tap the knees, lift up. In the action, creating that lift of the knees, let's allow that action to be isolated to the lowest part of the core, that space between the hip bones and the belly button. So squeeze lift, squeeze lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, stay lifted right here. Balance that weight, right toes tap back and in and left. So that blocker book on the lower back enables us to really focus on that stability through the hips. No rotation in the spine, no rotation in the hips. The core really working to stay long and stable here. Step back for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the knees. Just pause and hold here for a minute. Maybe take a couple cat-cows. Hang on to that block. This is a lot for the arms and the shoulders. We're going to do a very similar movement in plank, and then we'll take a quick break and stretch. So let's extend the legs behind the body. Now, you don't have to do full plank. You can do the same thing in supported plank, but you're still walking the knees back, hip bones coming for the earth, maybe lifting the knees up, press through the heels, press through the hamstrings, and now we've got that knee tap and lift, tap and lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the knees lifted where you are. Let's lift left leg and release. And the right. So squeeze through the glute. Use the muscles in the glutes and the hamstrings to lift up and out. Lift up and out. Yes. Here we go. 10, 8, 6. Take a breath. Last 2. And 1. Release the knees. Keep that block right there. Stay on all fours. I know your arms are shaking. So are mine. One more little movement to get a little rotation. We'll take the left fingertips, reach forward, make that circle back. We're just going to tap the fingers to the block. Now open the shoulder, rotate and open. Little stretch here. And sweep the fingertips back to center. Right fingertips lift up. Open, make that circle with the arm. Place the fingertips on the block. Now rotate and open, spiral the rib cage open here. Sweep back to center. Let's do that one more time on each side. Hold, now soften and open through the back of the shoulder, gaze up over the left shoulder. Sweep back to center. Same thing on the other side. This time we're gonna grab that block off the lower back and place the block in front of us. Our final piece of work here in plank is a little bit intense. It's very, very core focused, but also a lot for shoulders. So we'll work halfway through the series, take a quick stretch, and we'll jump right back in. Hands are gonna come in front of the weight. I'm sorry, the block. So wrists are gonna be closer together because what will happen is as we pull, our knees are gonna press the block into the back of the wrists. So we'll just start here, get set up. I've kind of got my hands connected, so my fingertips are spread wide, my thumbs are connected, really pressing and grounding down. So kind of a diamond shape from my thumbs up to my shoulders, or a triangle. So lifting the left foot up, we're gonna round the spine, press that knee right into the block, pressing the block into the wrist, and lift up, and press. You can make this as big as you like. If you wanna bring the legs all the way up into one-legged down dog and then take your press. Also have the option of that right knee being down on the earth to support. So here's our focus, friends. Our focus is on that press of the knee into the block. So if you want a little more intensity, maybe even pause, count for 2, press, press, and come back. Yes. Press in for 6, 5, 4, 3. We're gonna hold the last one, press in, 5, 4, push into the wrists, 2, and 1. Release the knees, really quickly shake the arms out. This isn't our break yet. Come right back, reset, thumbs touch, block right inside, press back to your plank or supported plank, right knee lifts, press in, and press. Again, option to make this more of a one-legged down dog, make it big, or maybe release that left knee for more support. We're still rounding the spine and pressing. Big press into the block. 7, 6, 5, 4. It's big for the shoulders. I know, squeeze, focus on the core. 2, and 1. Release down, come into child's pose. Take a breather here. All right. Final movement here in our plank, and then we'll stand up and leave the upper body alone for a little bit. We're just gonna come side to side. So our final set will be alternating legs. Set up, shoulders right in front of that block. Maybe those thumbs touch. Curl, maybe lift up here. Here's your option. Come up and pike the hips up a little bit to find a little bit more space. Doesn't have to be a big kick up. We're gonna go alternate side to side. Lift leg, come forward, push in. Other side, and push, and push. So you choose how quickly or how slowly you go, but I want you to spend some time when you push that knee in. Spend that second, that quick moment, feel that core engage. Yes, keep going here. 8, 7. You can probably hear my knee pushing into that block as it lands. Although I've got my Darth Vader breath going on now as I'm getting a little bit elevated in the heart rate. Keep pushing here. Here we are, friends. 3, 2. Make them good. It's the last ones. Yeah. Release the knees down. This time, let's take a little thread the needle. Take the right hand on the block and then lift up through the left fingertips. And as we thread under, maybe shimmy that arm forward with the right block. Opening here. Coming down to the side of the head, the cheek. Now lifting the fingertips that are on the block, just pressing through the palm, really open through the shoulder here. Yeah. Take a couple of big deep breaths. Feeling that fatigue in the arms. Start to roll back up. We'll just come to the other side. Now those left fingertips will come to the block. Inhale, right fingertips sweep up. Thread the needle, come under. And then maybe shimmying that block forward a little bit more. Pressing the palm into the block, lift the fingertips. And then maybe starting to roll toward the back side of the head, opening the back of that right shoulder. Take a couple more breaths there. Really honoring the strength in the arms. It was a lot of work. You did it. Slowly walk your way up. Let's just come up into a down dog. Maybe walk it out for a breath or two, and we'll just use that down dog to come back to a standing position. You can walk the toes toward the hands, the fingers toward the toes, whatever feels good in the body. Those weights can come to the side. We're gonna hang on to that block. So we'll grab our chair. Great time to grab a drink as we transition here as well. All right, so as we're setting up, looks like my head might be cut off, but that's all right. It's more important that you see the body. As you set your chair up, that block is gonna come on the earth. We will start with our left foot on the block. So we want to set up so that we're a distance from the chair where you could sweep your leg forward a little bit, but you could also kind of lunge back. We're gonna be working front and back. So find that spot where you think you're good with your block. We'll take the left foot, come on the block. Let's just step up a couple of times. So your toes might hang off the front of your block or your book. That's no big deal. We just wanna have some stability here. So let's go ahead and take that right foot down and then adjust the left foot so the ball of the foot is in the center of the block. So we're gonna lift the heel right away, working in that releve position. So press through the ball of that left foot, lift up and lower. So let's turn this way just for a moment. We're just lowering and lifting. Really, this right leg is just along for the ride right now. We're pressing down through the ball of the foot, starting to work through the thigh and the glute of the left side of the body. So just that lower lift. Right away, bringing some focus and some energy into the spine. Tops of the shoulders are soft, shoulder blade squeeze. We're gonna add a sweep of that right leg forward. So as you lengthen the leg on the block, the left leg, right toes will sweep forward, point through the toes. And as you start to work, the chair really, I think for everything we're doing today, is essentially there for balance. We're not leaning into the chair or whatever you're using for stability. We're just using it to give us a reference so that we can keep the spine nice and long. We feel supported, we feel safe. We're gonna add on, toes kick forward, take a lunge back and forward and back. Actually, let's keep that back leg straight for now. So as you step back, toes land, ball of the foot lands, and then sweep right back up. Starting to feel that long line from the hip bone to the big toe. That right leg is completely straight right now, just sweeping forward and back. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep the right toes forward. Continue to press through the ball of that left foot. It's just a lower and a lift. So that right leg completely still, just focusing on that reach and that length, and just a little lower and a lift with the left leg. Feeling the balls of the feet dig into that block, that book, whatever you have for support. Which, by the way, if you had nothing, you could still be doing this there too. No worries. Now we're going to pause here, slight bend in that standing leg, bend, reach the right leg. So just that teeny tiny bend through the knee, and then right away shoot that energy right back through the toe. And lengthen, and lengthen. Yes. Rib cage hugged in. Pull the rib cage into the body. Everything's super strong, activated through the torso. Reach for 4, 3, putting it together right here. Both legs moving. Bend, reach in the right, lower lift in the left. Get the brain working here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, right heel comes to the front of the block. So place that right heel on the front of the block. Spread all 5 toes out on the earth, and then step the left leg back. So we'll take a moment here to set up. We've got that right heel pressing into the block of the book. Lift it up, balls of the right foot. If you don't have the block, you're essentially just lifting that right heel up. We will use the block to give us a little bit more intensity here. So we're just going to start lowering and lifting, but we're going to do 2 different rounds here of lower lift. In the first round, we are focusing on pressing through the ball of the back foot. So as you start to lower and lift, can you connect a little bit more through the ball of the foot, through the toes on the back leg, and find a sense of lightness through the heel in the front? So almost maybe leaning back into it, maybe not physically as much, but mentally definitely pushing through those back toes. Lower lift here. 4, 3, we're going to stay low right here and pulse down and down. Yes, we all feel it in the quad. We're all here together. If you need to take a little break, take it, jump right back in. So this final little push here, focusing on the ball of the foot, push a little bit more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Just lengthen that back leg for a moment. That will just allow us to switch our focus. Now our focus is on the heel. Push the heel of that right foot into the block. Go ahead and bend that back leg again. Come back to that lower and lift. But now we're feeling that sense of lightness in the balls of the feet and the back toes, grounding down and really pushing through this front heel. Drive it in. Yes. So now feeling the glute and the hamstring on the right side of the body as well. Lower for 6, 5, 4, 3, we pulse next, and 1, and pulse. Drive through that heel, you can do it. Connect just a little bit more. Push, push, push. 8, 6, 4, 3, you're there, 2, and 1. Go ahead and lengthen the back leg. You bring the heel up on the block, really feeling that burn in the legs. These are big movements. And now that right foot is going to step on the block. So again, the whole foot comes on the block, pressing ground down through the right foot, lift up. So now that left foot is floating. This time, we're going to drive, lengthen through the heel of the left leg, toes come up toward the face, and it's a hip dip. So no bend in the right leg on the block. Show you what it looks like from the front. So it's going to be a teeny tiny lower and lift. We're working through the sides of the body, just a little bit of lateral work. So the heel drops, pulls right back up. Normally, we avoid this, but this is just kind of a little extra, kind of the special sauce in this series to work in a spot, work through the hips that's a little bit tough to get. So nothing more than a micro bend in the standing leg. Drop and lift for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press through that right foot, stay lifted here. Now we'll start the sweep, keeping the foot flexed. Just gently sweep the leg in front of the body and sweep behind. Sweep in front. So we'll start to focus on that glute. So as that leg swings back, really squeeze the glute. Hip bones are square, so maybe even placing the fingertips on the left hip bones As that back leg comes back, our body wants to open, the hip wants to open so that we can kick back more. We're going to resist that temptation to open and really keep the work right here. So I always tell people, sometimes it helps even put your hand on your body. So maybe placing your hand on your glute or on your hamstring to feel that work. Feel that work in your own body. We're going to add some flexion and extension of the spine here as well. Very, very slight. So as the leg comes forward, round the spine, open the heart. Round and open. Round and open. Just a couple more times. And now we'll keep that right heel pressing back. We're going to lower and lift. As we bring the toes toward the body, we're going to push the toes into the backside of the block and lift up and push through the toes and lift and push. Now, make this minor adjustment with me, if you will. Instead of allowing your big toe to tap the block, which brings the leg externally rotated, let's internally rotate a little bit and maybe press the second or the third toe into the block. That forces us to internally rotate and really stay in that glute, keeping the hip closed. So hopefully feeling that difference in your body. Let's stay right here for 8. Actively press the toe. 6, 5, 4, 3, strong through the core. Stay lifted. 2, and 1. Take a big step back with that left foot and lift back up, squeeze the glute. Step back to lunge, lift and squeeze. Step and lift. So we're gonna stay here in this lunge and lift for a little while. This is an opportunity to get your heart rate up a little bit. Here's your option to make it a little more intense. Lean forward and lean. So you can make it just a little bit bigger. Or you can make it smaller, you can hold. Notice what happens in the body though. As you make this bigger, again, that left hip wants to open. So let's resist that urge, keep that left hip closed, squeeze through the glute. Let's stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Yeah. And here we are. So here we are right back where we started. Opposite foot is on the top of that block. So we're going right back to the beginning of that series. And if you remember, once we were stable on that standing foot on the block, we're going to bring the ball of the foot right to the center of the block. And we're going to lower and lift here. So this time we are allowing that bend to happen in the standing leg. Press up. And as we lift, let's point through those left toes. Yes. Right here for 8, 7, 6. It's almost like a ball change. 4, 3. Adding that sweep of the left toes in front of the body. Here we go now. Sweep forward and sweep. Making any adjustments if you've gotten a little closer to the chair and you need some space so that you can sweep the toes forward and back. Make those little adjustments now. We'll add on in 3. We'll add the leg step back and 1. Here we go. Step back and sweep forward. And we'll keep that back leg straight. Keep forgetting that and they want to lunge into it, but we're going to focus on that before we get into the lunge. Still lengthening, just working with a long leg, sweeping forward and back. The work's still really in that right leg, right? 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause right here, stay lifted. That left leg is just gonna extend, bend the right and lift, and bend and lift, bend and lift. Checking in with your spine, this is a great spot to do it. Shoulder blades squeezed, tops of the shoulders soft, gentle tuck of the chin to the chest. Here we are. 4, 3, 2, right leg stays bent, sink a little bit lower, bend, reach, and reach. So if you don't have a dancer background, this whole bend, reach thing seems really kind of foreign and weird, but it's become one of my favorite movements for barre and even Pilates because it's almost like it forces us to work. It's sort of like the difference between moving to create strength and that static hold. We're bringing some movement into the muscle to lengthen and lengthen. And then once we come to that straight leg, it's that much longer. Here we go, put it together. Bend, reach, lower lift. Yeah, 8, 7, 6. Reach, reach. 3, 2, and 1. All right, now that left heel is going to come to the front of the block. Spread all 5 toes wide. Find that stability, grounding that left heel into the block, taking that step back with the right foot. So find your lunge here. Lengthen out through the spine. And remember, our focus on the first couple of movements is on the back leg. So ground down through the ball of the foot. Start your lower and lift. Yeah. Second side feels more intense because we've already really worked both legs in a sense. So this is just kind of a second round or a second blast for both. We're going to get through it together. Here we go. Lower lift. Really pushing through the ball of that foot. Use that little bit of brain power, that focus, that energy, all through the ball of the foot. Driving down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay low and pulse. 9, 8. Bring it back to the ball of the foot. Back foot is in charge. Just a little longer. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen that back leg just for a moment. Start to regain that strength, that energy in the front heel. So press and ground down. Get back into that bend. Lower that right knee toward the earth and lower and lift. Now that heel really pushing into your block or your book. Super long. No hinge in the spine. Sliding down that wall. Doesn't have to be big. Just has to be strong and intentional through that heel. Right here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay low. Press. Press right there through that heel. Push in. You're there. I feel it with you. We're all a little uncomfortable, right? It's okay. Here we go. Last 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, yep, here we are, and 1. Go ahead and push that right hip back, pull the left hip back. Just take a teeny little mini break here. And then we'll place that left foot on top of the block. Whole foot comes on the block. Press up through the left foot, come back up. We're coming back to that hip dip. So that right leg is going to stay straight. Pressing through the heel, toes toward the face. We're just lowering and lifting. So teeny tiny action here. Left leg stays straight, or maybe a little micro bend in the knee. Really find some strong flexion in that right foot. So just working through the hips. Yeah. And again, this is a really good spot. If you place that, wrap that left hand around the body, you can feel that energy. That right side body working, that's where your contraction is happening. Squeeze and pull up. Little movement, big results. Squeeze for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll start sweeping that leg forward and back and forward and back. So both hip bones square, both shining forward. We're only extending that heel behind the body as much as we can while those hips stay nice and closed. Focusing on that squeeze of the glutes. Just a gentle, soft bend in the left leg. We'll get a little bit more movement here shortly. Let's add in some spinal flexion and extension right here. Yes, as the leg kicks back, extend, open the heart. Make it subtle, doesn't have to be big. Yeah, 2 more. All right, now we've got the toe pressing into the back of the block. Lift and press in. Lift and press in. And again, let's make that little micro adjustment. Internally rotate and focus on pressing the second or the third toe into the block as opposed to the big toe. Big press, squeeze. So similar to what we did when we were working in plank and pressing our knees into that block to get that core energy. Same principle here. We're using that block to give us something to push against so that we can activate the glutes just a little more. Press in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pulse up, 8, 7, 6, 5. We're going to take that big step back in 3, 2, and 1. Step back and lunge and lift and lunge and lift. Here's where you get to go rogue a little bit. Make it bigger, go faster. This will be our last opportunity in our time together to get the heart rate up today. So if you want to move a little faster, make it bigger, go for it. Try, if you can, to keep that right hip closed. Use that hinge of the hips to get a little bit more height in the leg as opposed to opening the hip. Yes. We're going to stay here for 20 seconds. One small series after this for the legs, and then we're down on the earth for the remainder of our practice. You're there. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. All right, block stays right where it is. We're going to come in, externally rotate now. Bring the legs into small V. You can face me or face the chair. I'm just doing this so you can kind of see the leg position. But squeezing the ankle bones, squeezing the heels into the block. So without moving at all, as soon as you start to make that connection and zip through the legs, you'll feel that heat start to build in the inner thighs. So once we're established, we've got that strong connection pressing, now we relevate up onto the balls of the feet. That block is going to lift up off the earth. Squeeze the heels in one more time. Now as we start to slide down, those legs will come into that diamond shape. Slowly lower back up. We're not coming all the way, just a slow lower and lift. As you lower down, start to open up through the hips, outer edges of the knees, opening to the wall or the space behind you. Press through the heels. 2 more times, lower lift. Yes, this time as we come down and slide down that wall, we're going to stay. Press the heels into the block a little bit more. I'm going to reconnect. There we go. Feels super stable. And now as the heels press in, we're going to open the knees to the hot wall behind you. So kind of flapping those wings behind, open and open, open. Really big, big, big work for the inner thighs. Sink into it a little bit more. Sometimes when we start to feel that burn, our first gut reaction is to pull up and out. Let's reverse that and sink in a little bit more. Stay with me right here. Hands are super light on the back of the chair. Maybe you don't need them. Squeeze here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift up all the way, come up to the toes. Big movement, sink down all the way down. And lift up. Big range of motion, heels still squeezing in, and lift. And lower. We've got 6 more here, friends. 5. Make the motion as big as you can, but the spine stays long. You're just sliding down that wall, hips come toward the heels. I think we've got 3, 2, and 1. Sink down, hold low here, we're hovering. Glutes are not down on the heels, it's just a hover. Just hang with me here. 2 big deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale, push the heels into the block. 1 more time, inhale. Exhale, push. Yes, slowly lower all the way down to the bum. Actually, let's come to the knees for a moment. You can shake it out. We'll do a little figure 4 stretch here in just a couple of minutes. You can move that chair out of the way. And as we come to all fours, 1 more time in our practice today, we'll also use that block. So take the block underneath the toes. Just a little deep core work here. So the tops of the feet and the toes are on top of that block. Set the hands up underneath the shoulders. Start to press the tops of the feet into the block. Press the toes. As you press the toes, feel that lower belly start to activate and lift. Feel the hip bones coming up toward the lower rib cage. And now start to find that flexion in the spine. Lift the heart up through the scapula. And eventually we're going to lift everything up. So knees are going to lift up off the earth. Pressing through the palms, all 10 finger pads connected. Lift and hold, chin tucked to the chest. Static hold first for 8, 7, 6. Everything wrapped in. 4, 3, 2. Here we go. Tap, lift, and lift. So knees touch the earth or maybe barely touch the earth, and then lift the hips up. Round through the lower spine as much as you can. Lift and tuck. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold again. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the knees. You can take that block into the hands. We'll come down to the back. We can take a moment here before we place the block and just pull the knees to the chest. Maybe rock side to side, over the spine. I always wonder how much you guys can hear. I hope you can hear the birds and some of the sound going on in my background. So lovely. All you can probably hear is my Darth Vader breath, which I apologize for that. So we're going to take that block. Before we do anything with the knees, though, let's notice the spine. I think everyone that I saw online has had me for class or done Pilates. So we're finding that imprinted spine. Let's take the knees so they're stacked above the hips, placing that block between the thighs. It doesn't matter which direction, where, we just want to stay away from the knees, squeezing above the knees into the block. Now as you do, feel that deep imprint in the spine. Press the palms into the earth. We'll just start to lift the hips up. Just a little reverse crunch here. Yes. Think about squeezing the thighs into the block, pulling that block into the belly or as close to the belly as you can. Maybe this range of motion is getting a little bit bigger as the lower back loosens up here. Lift and tuck for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Interlacing the fingers at the base of the skull, open the elbows wide. In fact, connect the outer edges of the elbows to the earth here for a moment. Really press the spine into the earth. We'll flex the feet, extend the legs, reaching through the heels in front of you. For some of you, the legs might be up here because that's where you can keep the spine imprinted. You might be able to go a little bit lower, but find that range of motion where the spine stays printed. Now, as you exhale, round the spine, bring the knees toward the chest, elbows come in, close the arms. Inhale, open, elbows come down. Exhale, squeeze in. Yes, use that exhale to really tuck that tight ball, round the spine. Even as the spine rounds, we're still connected here. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the head and shoulders, legs stack above the hips here. Flex the feet. We'll internally rotate the legs. So as you internally rotate, kind of knocking the knees toward one another, this awkward position. Now squeeze the block. Tops of the thighs are squeezing the block. Start to lower the legs toward the earth, maintaining that imprint, and exhale, sweep up. Lower lift here. You can lift the head, lift the shoulders for a little more intensity. 4 more like this. Maintain that internal rotation of the legs. Squeeze the thighs. And 1, pause at the top. Now externally rotate, open, heels toward one another, thighs opening, and same thing, lower and lift, lower and lift. Our range of motion wants to be a little bit bigger when the hips are open, so now really, really pay attention to the lower spine and that connection. 2 more like this. And 1 at the top, we're going to put it together. As we lower, we internally rotate, knees toward one another, toes toward one another. As we sweep up, heels connect, open the legs. Internally rotate to lower, externally rotate to lift. Keep flowing here. Big work for the hips, getting strength in there, working the core at the same time. If you want more intensity through the core, maybe lifting the head and shoulders even more. Maintain that hold and squeeze. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the legs up, lift up, and crunch. You can keep the fingertips at the base of the skull or maybe extend, reaching the fingertips toward the ankles. Focusing more now on the core here. This is our last working movement of our practice. Just let that block be there. Reach and reach. We'll alternate sides in 4, 3, 2, Left fingertips to the outside of the right ankle, and left, side to side. Your challenge is to maybe lower the legs a little bit more toward a 45-degree angle. Only go where you can go while that back is an imprint. Also an option to bring the legs into the tabletop. We're finishing strong right here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release everything down. Take the block from underneath, from the legs. This might be the favorite thing we've done with the block all day. You might have to push yourself up. But if you've got a block or a book or even a pillow, you can kind of place it in the mid part of the back, kind of where your bra strap lands. And just allow the spine to fold over the block. Head comes down to the mat. Arms might come to the side in a T shape. Bring the legs nice and wide. Allow that natural external rotation to happen in the legs in this position. And just pause here for a moment. Just feeling the breath. Enjoying the stillness at last. And just taking another breath or two here. Bringing the forearms and the elbows next to the sides of the body. Maybe press up. Gently remove that block. We're done with it for now. You can come back to it if you like. And coming back down, once again, knees come into the chest. Releasing the right foot down to the earth, we'll cross the left ankle over the top above the right knee. And then taking the fingertips behind that right thigh, just to gently guide that right knee toward the chest, maybe using that left elbow to press the left knee open. So finding your figure 4. Allowing any sway that wants to naturally happen through your spine to just happen. No more rules, no more counting. Just letting everything kind of sink in and marinate here, maybe closing the eyes. Releasing the right foot to the earth, let's bring the arms wide on the sides of the body to a T shape and rolling over the right hip. That left sole comes down to the earth, finding a little spinal twist. Maybe gazing over the left shoulder here. Both shoulders connected to the earth. Taking one more inhale. As we slowly roll back toward the center, knees come into the chest. And when you're ready, coming to the other side of your body, dropping that left foot or whichever you haven't done. Crossing the ankle above the knee. Find your figure 4. Maybe using that right elbow to gently press that right knee away from the body, opening the hip. Take some point flex through the toes, circle the ankles. Working with the block in that releved position. There's a lot of work for the ankles, but so important to build that stability. That way, when we do have those klutzy moments where you twist your ankle, you've got that strength and mobility in the ankle to kind of bounce right back. Slowly lowering the left foot, arms come wide, rolling over the left hip. Spinal twist here. Maybe gazing over the right shoulder. One more inhale here. And coming back to center. Final time, knees come to the chest. And let's roll like a ball, coming up to a seated position. Hands come to the earth, lift the hips, come into down dog. Just take a breath or two here. Maybe walking a little bit. And then when you're ready, finding your forward fold, walking the toes up to the hands. One final slow roll all the way up. Belly button to the spine, let the head and the hands hang heavy. Pressing through the feet, slow roll. Stacking the vertebrae. Shoulders roll back. One final inhale all the way up. As we exhale, hands come through heart center. The beautiful light, joy, and energy in each of you is also within me. Namaste.